Hey everyone, you're listening to Big Blend Radio with Lisa and Nancy, the publishers of BigBlendMagazines.com, and also the travelers on our Love Your Parks tour, where we're traveling the country, visiting all the parks and public lands that we can, and also sharing the stories of the various destinations we visit, which includes Little Rock, Arkansas. We were just there, and we spent 4 nights, and we spent 4 nights at the DoubleTree by Hilton Hotels, right in the historic downtown of Little Rock. And talk about location. My room overlooked the river. Nancy's room overlooked the city, which had these amazing lights at night. And you could
so pretty.
Right next door to the Robinson Center. You could go right next door to the State Museum, and just an awesome, awesome location. So we're very excited to have Jeff McClure join us from the hotel to give some insight and share some of the amenities and facilities that the hotel has with you, so that you know where to go when you go to Little Rock. Welcome, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's good. Now, does your office have the view of the Arkansas River like my room did?
No, actually, I do have windows, which is nice, but it looks out over the plaza area.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, because your area is the State Plaza area, right? Is that because you're next to what was the Capitol building at one time?
Right. Yeah. The old State House, which is right next door to us, was obviously the original capital of Little Rock. And so, kind of the area, obviously it's, historic area downtown. So it's, brick pavers everywhere, which is nice. And, so it's a cool area.
Yeah. And also what we enjoyed is that we could just go, step out of the hotel. You got the beautiful fountain and a little gazebo, so you can sit outside. But you could just steps away from the riverfront walk, which was really amazing. You walk along the river, the Arkansas River. You can see all the beautiful bridges and the sculpture gardens. That sculpture garden down there is incredible.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they did it's one of there's actually a gentleman that's on our city board. He's a big proponent of that. And so, they've done a great job. They'll add a couple things, each year, and it's expanded, because it's primarily behind the Marriott down the, a couple blocks away, whereas a lot of it is, but it's really coming up and down the river, the Riverwalk area. They're just adding pieces constantly. So just makes that area even more fun to walk down and check everything out.
And you're right next to the conference center, the convention center, which is on the same street. And is that a lot of what, your visitors to the hotel? Are you getting a lot of people going in conventions and expos and things like that?
Yeah, I would say, typically Monday through Thursday, we're heavy business travel, convention travel, meetings going on. And, then it flips to, leisure travel to the guests coming in, for the weekends. But, it's obviously with Marriott and us being downtown, we're the 2 convention hotels, and so we do quite a bit, citywide events, we're kind of it, on that side of things. And we're connected to Robinson Center, which you mentioned earlier. And so we sell their meeting space or utilize their meeting space and do all the food and beverage for that center. And then the convention center, which is only 2 blocks away, Marriott handles all their stuff, so we kind of have, handle the facilities, booking the groups, and they're working with the CVB and making sure we get everything in.
Yeah, and you're right across the center, the street from, the CVB, which is really nice, the Convention and Visitor Bureau. So it's, like I said, ideal location. And the Robinson Center, that's a really interesting building. It's got beautiful statues outside as well. What's really neat about that is, didn't they just have this renovation as well? And they just put in this history wall, this timeline of, what has happened in the center, including Elvis Presley's first recording of Hound Dog.
Right, I know, isn't that cool? Yeah, it's a great, venue for, smaller concerts, and obviously all the Broadway plays and musicals and everything come through there. And it's a, great venue. They utilize our parking deck, or the city's parking deck below our hotel. And so it just makes, it's an easy venue, and there's a lot of events there. And so when we handle all the concessions for it, so we love having everything, as much stuff as they want to get in there. But it's, it's great to be connected to that, and right next door, and it's a beautiful building and just complements the area.
I want to talk about, checking into the hotel. Nancy and I, we drove in from, and we ended up taking some detours as usual. So we never arrive on time. So I say that to everybody, like we estimate is a good word for us because we took detours. Well, we took the scenic route. We drove from East Texas that day and took scenic routes because we'd never been to Arkansas. And so yeah, it was our first time. We're like, let's take the scenic route, and it was really beautiful. And we got into Little Rock. I mean, you're really easy to get to. I think I took a left instead of a right one time, and then I figured it out and got there. And we drove up to the hotel. And I have to tell you, the staff were just like so welcoming. They're like, "Oh, here you are. You're all set to easy to go in. Here's your key and all that." And you had gentlemen come out and loaded up everything for us. Just so friendly, telling us what restaurants, what are you interested in, telling us about the hotel, telling us about, hey, now this time look outside your window, you'll see you're on the river, so you're going to see the lighted bridges, and telling Nancy, hey, you're going to have the city view, watch that at night, it's going to look like this. So everybody, the staff, I have to say, is
awesome
part of staying at the DoubleTree. And you think about staff and that kind of hospitality in like bed and breakfasts and smaller hotels, but everyone, like the restaurant, all the servers and bartenders, because we did spend time in your bar quite a few times, but they were so friendly, and you just don't see it that way in big hotels a lot of times.
Right, and obviously it's one of the the toughest things just in the industry right now is finding good people. And because especially there's more and more hotels opening up all the time, so it's you can find bodies for the most part, but you got to find the right people to work for you. That have that hospitality gene. That want to take care of customers, and it's not a transaction. And then go that extra step, and hey, what do you move for restaurants? It's like I tell people. Obviously, I've worked in this market for a long time, and have friends that have restaurants downtown. I said, no one's asking me where to go eat. So because they don't see me. I'm in the back office all the time. I said, but they're asking that front desk person or the bellman or whatever, where should they go eat tonight? And that's the people that, are driving business downtown, so it's, you got to have that, level of employee and, get, associate. So that way, they can take care of the guests and do that extra step. It's not just you're walking to, a hotel's a hotel. It's the people in it that make the difference.
Yeah, it is.
They have a lot of pride in their city. That's what we noticed about your staff, and they really want you to see everything. And don't leave this out. Don't leave that out. We're like, oh, cool.
I know. Like,
that's a lot of I mean, it's, right. Well, and that's a lot of it. People don't know how much there is to do. And I mean that's one of our, even when we go to trade shows and we're promoting Little Rock. Like I'll be on one in 2 weeks, but I'm there to sell DoubleTree, to get people to try to stay at the hotel, but more importantly, to get them to Little Rock. Because if we get them on their feet on the ground in Little Rock, we know we can sell it. It's just getting them over that impression of like, what is there to do? What is, but they get here and they see, oh, there's 25 restaurants downtown. That's, none of them are a chain. Everything's within walking distance. There's all the historic stuff you can do. There's the Clinton Library. There's Heifer. There's, the Riverwalk area. So, it's almost overwhelming to them. They're like, oh, this is great. It can handle everything, so it's just a matter of getting the first impression, getting them over that and getting them on the ground, really. And that's our, in our success factor when we get them here is phenomenal. It's just getting them here, getting, to look at it.
And the thing is, you've got the history is rich. I mean, it's, it's interesting as we've been going from the West, and as we progress Eastern, the history gets richer and deeper and deeper. And, what I like about Little Rock is that you have the blend of history, but also this modern side of you as well. And you have amazing food. You have amazing beer. You have an amazing distillery that, halfway through the conversation, I could barely talk. I was like, let me just sit and sip on this because I can't talk now. But there is so much. But what was surprising to us, I know we're on the parks tour, and people are like, well, what are you doing in downtown Little Rock? And people did ask, what are you doing going to Little Rock? And I'm like, dude, there's a lot here. And we spoke with Bill Fitzgerald over at the CVB first. He came on our show, and I'm like, I didn't know you had all these things. I didn't know the riverfront was that accessible and that beautiful. Sunset views, man, out of my room were incredible. Everyone will be able to see those soon, the photos we got of it. But the parks being so close, we went to Pinnacle Mountain State Park. We went to the Toltec Mounds Archaeological Park. within in such an easy, I mean, it's like you just follow one road out of the hotel and you're in an archaeological district that also takes you along a beautiful river or lake area. And then you follow one road out and next thing you know, you're going on a beautiful hike and you're bird watching. And I did not expect it to be that accessible, all the nature side of things at all.
Oh, right. Especially because I'm sure when you're like, we're staying downtown, that means it's going to be, 30 minutes to get anywhere, and once you get here, you realize, I mean, downtown is not enormous, by any means. And you're within 5 minutes, you're in a totally different area.
Yeah.
And I think that's getting that into, again, that's what's great about it. You can still get that downtown urban feel, be able to walk out and have the nightlife and all the dining options, but 10 minutes, you can be climbing a mountain,
Exactly.
Right.
So it's just, there's so much to do. To be honest, sometimes it's a little overwhelming for people if they're coming here because they want to do. It's like you said, how can we stay longer? Because there's too. We're not touching everything.
I know.
And when you came here, you're like 4 days. It should be enough. And it should be plenty of time. And then you're like, wow, there's way too much to try to accomplish. And so that's what we're trying to really get across. Which Bill and his team does a great job, and Gina at the CVB does a great job. It's just like showing them how much it has to offer. It's not just a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know Libby was telling us, you got to go to the Robinson Center. Like, yeah, she's like, seriously, people don't, that is a historic place and absolutely amazing. One thing too, we went on the Friday night art walk, and I have to tell you, everybody, you've got to do that. And it's so you just walk out of your hotel and there's like a street car that'll take you around. So you don't have to, no drinking and driving. It's really easy and accessible. It's fun. So you can go from place to place in the downtown. It's a great way to go and see the galleries and the different restaurants and the museums. And some of the best jazz music we've heard. I mean, it's just, we had quite a night. And then we ended up at the hotel and we went and, had dinner and some cocktails in your restaurant there. And listen, I don't want to hear anybody say that hotel restaurants aren't good. Your food is good and you have local beer too. So I'm sorry, that's a myth.
Right, yeah. We have a good chef. He does a good job, and kind of just knowing, there's so many options downtown. You can't go too crazy with the cuisine trying to compete too much, but you can do your little niche, pick out a few things that you really want to specialize in, and then just have, the basics, for someone, if it's raining, they want to have to get out, they can have a good meal, or something like that. But I mean, there's so many options downtown that you hate to deprive them of that because, there's just too many good places to eat.
Now, the rooms, Nancy and I both said that, you go to a big hotel, we're so used to hearing someone above you or their TV next door, that kind of thing, and we were both amazed at how quiet the rooms are. How did you do that?
Well, fortunately, the hotel was built in the early '80s. Back when they did everything with concrete. And it was, this thing will stand the test of time forever. And so we're fortunate on that side of it. And then the fact that it's been through a couple of renovations, so everything's it's like I tell people when I go to trade shows, everything's gray because that means it's been renovated because that's the new color that everybody's doing. But nowadays everybody when they build hotels, they're using the metal steel framing or whatever. So that's why there's so much noise in between hotel rooms because it's not solid concrete like this hotel is. So that certainly helps, especially in a big box like this, just you want to make sure that, and we have airline crew that stay with us. So we obviously got to keep it quiet for them so they can get their rest. And, and it helps. We never have, every now and then you'll have a big, school convention or kid convention, of course they're out in the hallways hanging out like they were normally going to do, but, that's really it, but room to room, it's very, very quiet.
Yeah. And the beds are comfortable. Their rooms are and clean. I always appreciate a clean room, man.
Yes.
We've
Me too.
And you're like, oh, dude, no. So very clean, very spacious. That's the other thing. The rooms have room. That's nice, for everyone to have that. You can walk around. The internet works. We did radio shows from there. So really clean, spacious, comfortable rooms and great food, great location. And here's the thing, everyone. When you go downtown and you do conventions or you go downtown anywhere, you know what happens to your budget in regards to parking. We didn't pay a dime. So that was nice. You're right under the hotel, and that's really an easy thing for everybody.
Absolutely. That's the key. I mean, we do charge, you guys got off, we didn't charge you, but typically we charge, it's $14 a night for parking.
That's not
that gives
bad.
you come and go. so you can come and go as much as you want. And then it's right below the hotel. There's elevators, obviously, you can take from the parking deck level straight to your room level. You don't have to get off and go onto another elevator. It's all one. And, so it's definitely, I mean, it's downtown, so any downtown area you're going to have to pay for parking. It's just part of it, because no one owns their own parking anymore. But the fact that it's you get to control it. Valet is great, but you have to wait. If it's a valet, you usually got to wait, and it takes a little bit of time. You got to plan ahead. Here, at least you can get your car and go whenever you want to.
Yeah, I like that. And $14 a day in any big city, I think that is still very, very economical. I didn't realize that. So thank you for taking care of our parking.
You're welcome. Yeah.
But hey, listen, the perks of being a travel writer.
That's right.
The thing is, the valet thing, I think that's really nice. Sometimes you don't have the option, and I don't like that because of the way we travel. I like to have the option of, and I like to get to my car without the waiting and all of that. And I like to drive my own car. I don't like people touching my car.
Right.
I've caused a scene before, so I'm just saying. and I didn't mean to anybody. I wasn't trying to be rude, but it's like, no, our life is in this car. So anyway, again, thank you so much for a wonderful stay. And I do want to ask you before you go, Jeff, if you get a weekend off, what would you do to have fun in Little Rock for you personally?
Like you mentioned Pinnacle Mountain. I mean, that's just a great, easy thing to go do because it's so, accessible, and, it's a good day to hike up there and check out the top of the mountain and, come down. You can do a picnic out there and hang out. Certainly, I mean, there's so many, we like to eat. My family does. So, just coming downtown to the restaurants, different restaurants downtown, and just, because it's all local. I mean, that's the key. You're staying away from the chain. So we do a lot of that, or, certainly if there's something going on at Robinson or even Verizon Arena, which is right across the river, is where all the major concerts and shows go. So, just coming down for that. But the great thing about it, there's trolley systems, so you can, eat downtown and ride the trolley over to the arena, and so that way you can just leave your car in one spot. And so there's just a lot to do down here. I mean, it's just a great, area. Of course, you got the Clinton Library if you want to go check out stuff there. Heifer International. I mean, there's just, and like you've mentioned, Rocktown Distillery has a great distillery tour, and then there's some other breweries downtown. There's just a lot to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. It is. We can't wait to come back because, we're already making plans. It's already, here's the list of things we did not get to do. So
that's great.
It's a long list. Well, thank you so much. And can you tell everybody the best way to connect with you online to make their bookings? And make your bookings
so our website's DoubleTreeLR.com. That's easy. So that'll direct you right to the Hilton page. Okay. And then you can go right there and book everything from there.
And everyone, to learn more about Little Rock, go right to littlerock.com. Pretty easy. And when you get there, you're going to be looking at everything on the website. You know what? Just make your plans and go. That's really the best thing, because once you see how accessible everything is, everything will change on your list as well.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Thank you, Jeff.
Well, thank you guys. And if you need anything else, just let us know.
Thank you.